Hello and welcome to today's episode. And on today's episode, I have a friend of mine, Joshua Peter. Who is Joshua Peter? Joshua Peter.
Hello. All right. Obviously, Joshua Peter, and I love to write stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you write?
Good stuff.
Good stuff could be anything. Like you could write poetry. You could write
Poetry, stories, content, basically.
Content in general.
Yeah.
Good content.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after last week's episode, you listened to the episode and you're like, there's some sensitive issues that actually should be spoken about. Yes.
Yes.
You mentioned that when people probably have mouth odor and maybe body odor.
Yeah.
I think those were the two things you spoke about.
2 examples.
Two examples you gave. So you said when they have mouth odor or body odor, that people should actually reach out to them and speak to them about it, since it's something they can work on and stuff like that. So can you elaborate?
Okay. Great podcast last week, by the way.
Thank you.
I am of the opinion that we should respect people as much as possible. But then, in the world now, the level of growth that we are in came as a result of communication. Probably from wrong conversations into larger spaces of influence, and then the world became like what it is now. I know it's not great in that sense, but then there's a level of growth because people decided to communicate. And if it totally shut down that culture of communicating about stuff, and even in our individual relationships with other people, as it were, there's this level of retardation that we'll experience, because we will not get better because I'm not talking about the things we're meant to talk about. Like I give that example of mouth odor, right? If you obviously I would have to be your friend to talk about it, because
definitely. I mean, you can't just walk. You can't be a stranger.
Because relationship plays a lot in context. If it's just a random woman at the junction, I'm trying to get pepe or something, and then it will come off as offensive.
Yes.
But then if it's from a friend, someone that and then tone, the way the person is saying what they're saying and all of that, it all plays a very key role in how I get to receive what you're talking about in the first place. And that issue is stuttering. I mentioned stuttering yesterday. We're talking, and I spoke about stuttering, how that every now and then I stutter. I think I just did that.
You did.
It's fine, right?
Yeah.
For a person like me now, mine is not chronic,
so pronounced,
in that sense. But then there's this guy, Steve Harvey.
Yes.
He used to be a stutter.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How does he stutter?
I think it's a word also.
Okay.
But the guy used to stutter, and now he's very fluent. And he mentions stuff like there's a way you can actually correct it. And there was this lady on the show was trying to help her correct it, and was telling her stuff about how she should say stuff to herself like 3 times before she eventually pronounce it to other people and all. So stuff like that. Now, if I have that kind of information and you're my friend and you're a chronic stutterer, if I don't talk about your stuttering, because it's a sensitive issue to me in that sense, you would stay a stutterer, and
there will be no growth.
In that sense. You would want to be a better public speaker. You would want to be a confident person. So I feel like we should still talk about these things, but as was mentioned last week, let your words be seasoned with grace.
With grace, yes.
Yup.
Okay, so let me say this. So, as your friend, how do we now begin to tell people, guy, your mouth is smell, without necessarily being offensive?
First off, you would have to have a relationship with that person. There are different levels of relationships.
Sure, definitely.
You just have to be skillful. You have to use your head. know who it is you are to the person, and be sure that person knows. Like, be sure both of you are
it's
defined.
Mutual.
Yeah. Ensure it's mutual. Like, both define the kind of relationship you are having with yourselves. At that level, you should be able to just know when the right time it is to you can't just be my friend and probably just started speaking last week and then you talk late into the night and then the next week you are telling me about like bad breath. Like I don't want to hear it from you at that time, because the length of our relationship does not
mature.
It does not give room for that kind of conversation in that sense. So it's just being wise, basically. You would know, you feel vibes now. You catch vibes from people. So definitely you know that at this point in our relationship, I should be able to talk about stuff like this. I mean, we've gone way back. I should be able to tell you things like this, and of course you be polite, because when it comes to sensitive issues, I can't remember what it is, but I remember that during the week I was tipped off. This person was my friend. He has been my friend like 100 level, but then I got tipped off by what he was saying, because it was actually true, and it took me like say an hour of cooking to actually reflect and say, this guy actually said the truth. But then I got offended.
Yeah, maybe because the relationship wasn't.
The issue was I think the length of our relationship should allow him to do to say stuff like that to me. But then the way he said what he said.
Okay.
I just came back from church, I guess, and then he just said it. What are you like? What? He asked me for bread, I'm not giving him. I was still mad.
Oh, good.
Yes, I retaliated. I was like, I'm not giving my bread, because I was still offended. It took me a while, but eventually I figured that what he was actually saying was true, and it was something I needed to work on. But the way he said what he said, so for another person now, you might eventually damage their self-esteem.
Yeah.
If it's a person that would not take time to process what it is that you're saying. Okay, so I feel like this is a two-way thing. If you feel like an issue is sensitive to you, and even when someone is saying it to you, even though the person does not necessarily say it the right way, every now and then you should just take time and reflect on what the person has said, and you will know when the person is saying
the truth.
And in that sense, you should just take the content and not
filter the
insults.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
So, like, Mr. Joshua, do you have any other thing to say?
No.
Okay. So, like Mr. Joshua has already said, there are some things we actually should talk about, but always know how you approach such issues. Don't just make sure whoever it is that you want to tell something to, like, guy, you have a bad breath, make sure it's someone that you already have a level of relationship with. Make sure the relationship you have matches what you're trying to tell the person. Don't just walk up to anybody. Maybe just guy, that trouser, I mean, since what year have you been wearing it? Don't just approach people like that. Make sure that you have a level of relationship with them, and make sure the level of relationship you have with them is not just you thinking that, oh my, be this guy. Make sure the guy actually sees you as his guy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, and have a nice day. Mr. Joshua, give us a sign out.
A sign out.
Oh,
okay. Have
you're waving like they can see you.
Right.
Okay, again. I'll note that one.
Okay, another one.
You know, a motivational speech or something, like something to keep them going into the week.
Okay. Be productive, please.
Alright, now guys, thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye bye.